Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NTD Tonight. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. A missing military helicopter is now found, but 5 Marines on board remain missing. The aircraft was coordinating search and rescue efforts in Southern California. The bipartisan border security deal failed in the Senate today. More on the vote and what lawmakers are saying. A small break in the rain for Californians. We'll take a look at the current damages as residents brace for more storms in the forecast. First up, a military helicopter that went missing has been found. The aircraft carried 5 Marine Corps members from Nevada to Southern California during the recent storm.
Crews found a Marine Corps helicopter after it was reported missing early Wednesday. The 5 Marines that were on board are still missing. The aircraft flying from Nevada to California was reported overdue early Wednesday as a historic storm continued drenching California. The Marines were flying a CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter from Creech Air Force Base in Clark County, Nevada. They had been doing unit-level training and were returning home to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego. It was not immediately known what time the helicopter left Creech or what time they were due to arrive. Waves of heavy downpours hit the area throughout the night, and snow was forecasted for San Diego County mountains. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department was notified at 1 a.m. that the aircraft was overdue. It was last seen in the area of Pine Valley, a mountainous region near the Cleveland National Forest, about 35 miles east of downtown San Diego. The Marine Corps said the military was coordinating search and rescue efforts with the San Diego County Sheriff's Department and the Civil Air Patrol. The National Weather Service in San Diego called for 6 to 10 inches of snow in the mountains and gusty winds late Wednesday. On Tuesday afternoon, a tornado warning was issued, but quickly canceled, with the Weather Service saying the storm was not capable of forming a twister.
Now let's take a look at other top headlines. A procedural vote to advance the bipartisan border security deal and foreign aid package with aid for Ukraine and Israel has failed in the Senate today. The vote was 49 to 50. At least 60 votes were needed for it to move forward. Most Senate Republicans blocked it amid opposition from former President Donald Trump and top House Republicans, including Speaker Mike Johnson. Senator James Lankford, the top GOP negotiator on the border package, voted yes, along with the Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, and Mitt Romney.
Republican 2-vote majority in the House of Representatives and a Democrat 1-vote majority in the United States Senate. It doesn't get much closer than that to being equally divided in 2 bodies. But that means if we're going to solve something, we have to sit down together.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer later forced another procedural vote on a separate emergency aid package for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan without the border provisions, but it also failed. Schumer laid the blame on Senate Republicans and had this to say before the vote.
It would be an embarrassment for our country and an absolute nightmare for the Republican Party if they reject national security funding twice in one day.
Nikki Haley lost the Nevada primary to none of these candidates. Haley suffered another setback in her presidential campaign. The former UN ambassador came in second at the Nevada Republican primary, in which she was the only major candidate. Nevada on Tuesday held its first Republican primary in years, noticeably missing from the ballot former president and current GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. He is standing instead in the Republican caucuses on Thursday. In an unusual move, Nevada is hosting both contests, though only the caucuses will provide the winner with delegates. Candidates must choose to participate in either the primary or the caucuses, but registered voters can vote in both if they chose to. This could explain why Nikki Haley finished the contest behind the ballot option, none of these candidates. Here's one voter said when asked why he chose that option.
Because I know who I'm going to vote for. I'm voting for Trump.
Trump is expected to win the caucuses on Thursday. This will take him a step closer to the presidential nomination.
We're not going to have a lot of competition, I think, but it doesn't matter. We want to get a great, beautiful mandate. And this November, we're going to win the swing state of Nevada. You ever think of it as a swing state?
Meanwhile, President Biden also faced a little competition in the Democratic primary. He won in a landslide vote over author Marianne Williamson and Congressman Dean Phillips, the latter's name not appearing on the Nevada ballot at all.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. You all are the reason why I'm President of the United States of America. You're the reason.
Haley has been focusing her attention on the upcoming South Carolina primary, where she will once again go head-to-head with Trump. But the results in Nevada could put a further damper on her campaign. A federal appeals court ruled that refusing to wear a mask is not an expression of free speech. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals issued the ruling in two similar cases, involving people who refused to wear masks at school board meetings during the COVID-19 pandemic. The cases stem from lawsuits against officials in Freehold and Cranford, New Jersey. The plaintiffs said they were punished for not wearing masks. The court sent one of the cases back to a lower court. In the other, it ruled that the plaintiffs didn't prove she was retaliated against. The appeals court said that not wearing a mask isn't protected by the Constitution during a health emergency. They compared it to other situations where you can't disobey the law to make a point, like not paying taxes or not wearing a motorcycle helmet. The plaintiffs plan to take the case to the Supreme Court. Gaza ceasefire proposal rejected. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Wednesday rejected a proposal for a Gaza war truce by Hamas, saying Israel hasn't committed to any of the Hamas, quote, delusional demands. He said in a televised briefing that Israel is on the path to total victory, and only total victory will allow Israel to restore security both in the north and in the south. The rejection, a setback to diplomatic efforts to pause the war, comes after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Netanyahu and other Israeli officials on Wednesday. The original proposal by Hamas stipulates a ceasefire in Gaza for 4.5 months, during which all hostages will be released. Israel would withdraw its forces from the Gaza Strip, and an agreement would be reached on an end to the 4-month-long war. The war was triggered by Hamas-led attack on southern Israeli towns and military bases on October 7th. 1,200 people were killed and 253 seized as hostages. It's estimated that since then, half of the Hamas forces have been killed or wounded by the Israeli army. During the only truce so far, which lasted a week at the end of November, 110 Israeli and foreign hostages were released in exchange for 240 Palestinians Israel was holding. California braces for more atmospheric rivers while assessing the aftermath of the recent storms. A small break in the rain allows Southern Californians to gauge cleanup efforts. NTD's Stephanie Secal reports.
While it's currently sunny out, Southern California is bracing for additional atmospheric river storms after days of intense rainfall that led to flooded streets, mudslides, and debris. The recent Pineapple Express storms originating from subtropical waters around Hawaii brought record-breaking rainfall to Los Angeles, prompting flood watches and warnings throughout Southern California. The 3-day storm claimed at least 9 lives, causing widespread destruction with now over 400 mudslides, 300 fallen trees, structure fires, and water rescues. As another storm approaches, officials including Governor Gavin Newsom have declared a state of emergency for 8 counties, urging residents to prepare for more heavy rain, potential flooding, and high winds. The California Highway Patrol shared footage of a severely damaged road in the Mojave Desert on February 6. Weather forecasting service AccuWeather estimates that the total damage and economic loss for this week's intense storms could range between $9 and $11 billion. Around 70,000 residents across California were without power as of Wednesday morning, according to Power Outage US. Crews are working to clear flooded or blocked roads resulting from debris. Wednesday morning and afternoon should provide a break from the days of pouring rain for most of Southern California, but another round of showers will move in later tonight. Stephanie Secal, NTD News, California.
Maui officials are proposing to have better equipment and improve communications after the deadly wildfire last year. This comes after a report recommended a list of actions to help them better prepare for disasters.
Nearly 6 months after a wildfire destroyed the historic town of Lahaina, the Maui Police Department said Monday it is working on improving its response to future tragedies. The changes will be based on a preliminary after-action report after the deadliest U.S. wildfire in over a century. Many of the report's recommendations call for better equipment and updates to technology. This includes getting officers earpieces they can use when high winds make it hard to hear their radios and equipping patrol cars with breaching kits to remove downed trees or utility poles from roadways. Others focus on improving communications between emergency personnel and officers themselves, such as stationing a high-ranking officer, a lieutenant or higher, in the communications center to help relay information to police commanders. The report also suggested giving officers in the field more briefings during recovery efforts. The changes are among 32 recommendations listed in the report after the August 8th wildfire killed at least 100 people. The fire is being investigated by outside experts and is expected to take several more months to complete.
We'll take a short break now, everybody, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Florida wants to restore the minimum age for buying firearms. State lawmakers consider a bill that would allow 18-year-olds to buy rifles and shotguns. Struggling with your New Year's resolution to go to the gym? Gym employees and members share some tips on keep up with the fitness goals. Major brands get ready to advertise the Super Bowl Sunday. Find out what makes for a successful commercial and how much advertisements cost. Those stories and more coming up on NTD Tonight. Welcome back to NTD Tonight. I'm your host, David Zhang. Some Florida lawmakers want to restore the minimum age for buying a rifle or shotgun from age 21 back to 18. In 2018, the minimum age was raised after a school shooting when a 19-year-old used a rifle to kill 17 people. NTD's Jason Blair reports.
The bill has one more committee to pass before it goes to the House floor for a vote. The age was originally 18 to buy a rifle or a shotgun in Florida, but weeks after a school shooting in Parkland 6 years ago, the age was raised to 21. House Bill 1223 is sponsored by Representative Bobby Payne.
Restoring the rights of young adults to purchase a long gun for not only self-defense but for sporting is very important in my rural area. We quail hunt. We do a lot of bird hunting. It's important for those individuals to have their rights restored.
During the recent committee reading, many opponents to the bill referred to the 28 Parkland mass shooting.
Just one question: what has changed since 2018?
Senator Rick Scott, who was governor in 2018 when the age was raised, is opposed to the bill. He said, quote, "I still talk to a lot of the Parkland families. We had that shooting, we had Pulse, and we had the airport shooting. So your heart goes out to those families. I think we passed historic legislation." The bill passed the Criminal Justice Subcommittee 11-5. It will next be heard by the Judiciary Committee. Jason Blair, NTD News.
Are you struggling to bring yourself to the gym despite making a New Year's resolution to get in shape? NTD's BJ Khan talks with gym employees and members for tips on how to persevere.
Have you made a New Year's resolution to be more active, reach a desired weight, or perhaps to chisel out that Greek god bod? Then you're one of many Americans to flock to their local gym this year. But the determination to stay committed to a workout program rarely sticks. We talk with a UFC gym manager to find out what you can do to stay on track.
Having a goal in mind with a can-do attitude is a great way to start your fitness journey. Andrew Posada, a UFC gym manager in Southern California, says a more structured approach will lead to long-term success.
If you come into the gym and you don't have a plan, a lot of people are doing the same thing that they've been doing for years that hasn't been working. So definitely like figuring out like what it's going to take to get to your goal is like number one, right? I love like, people coming in here, like seeing them reach their goals, and then falling in love with the gym exactly like the way I did 10 years ago, and then seeing them reach their results, their mental health. Like I've seen people come in, they're real quiet, real shy. And then when they 6 months later, they're like totally different person.
Posada wasn't the only employee at the gym who supports the notion of New Year's resolutions. Mike Finch, the gym fitness director, also encourages the use of the tradition to fulfill a goal.
So I get really bored running on the treadmill. We have a lot of lovely treadmills at UFC Gym Rosemead, but I like to actually be engaged in something that's going to challenge my mind as well as my body. That's boxing, that's jiu-jitsu, and that's mixed martial arts.
Finch, also a competition fighter, recommended that learning a new way of working out could keep people motivated towards their fitness resolution.
We always should be setting goals for ourselves, and we always should be trying to be the best version we can be. So compete with yourself, set the bar high. I'm very pro New Year's resolution. I think people should go out there and get it.
Other gym goers shared their thoughts on the healthiest way to kick off 2024.
It's always in the realm of like, oh, why wait? Why wait to the beginning of the year to do this when you could start like any day of the year, right? But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot more fun added pressure when it's like beginning of the year because everyone is trying to do something different.
Hey, just try it out. You never know. And sometimes, you go in the sauna, there's other girls in there. Hey, how's your workout? How's your day going? You got to be social too and get out of your box, get out of your comfort zone, so you could open yourself up to others.
The consensus around the gym is clear. New Year's resolutions are a great way to fulfill your fitness goals.
Starting that foundation to kind of like see it through all the way. You got that right foundation, you learn the right way when you started. It's gonna equal out to long-term results. I mean, look at me now 10 years later. I would have never thought I'd be right here standing in front of you guys 10 years ago.
Giving up on your New Year's resolution to get in shape might be tempting, but as the people at this gym have been telling us, getting out of your comfort zone is essential to success. So go to the gym, make a couple workout buddies, and don't give up. BJ Kang, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Football fans are getting ready for the San Francisco 49ers to take on the Kansas City Chiefs at Super Bowl 58 this Sunday. But the game is also an opportunity for major brands to score big with their commercials. NTD's Andrew Thomas has the details.
The Super Bowl offers one of the largest audiences of the year for advertisers. John Evans is Chief Customer Officer at System 1, a company that predicts an ad's impact.
And I think there's no better stage to put your brand on than the Super Bowl. And the other thing is, if you're a Super Bowl advertiser, that's sending out a really powerful message to your audience that actually you're a big brand and you're one that they should listen to. And the opportunity to leverage a Super Bowl spot with your customers and your audience is enormous.
The spots on CBS, which will broadcast the game, sold out in November. Celebrities are a big part of the show every year. Soccer star Lionel Messi plays for Michelob Ultra this Sunday.
Mr. Messi!
Top at the moment, the best scoring ad at the moment is Michelob Ultra. And they've got Lionel Messi in their ad, which I think is really quite funny because you've got a soccer player advertising on a football night. So that's quite entertaining. But so far they're in the lead. They've got 4.8 stars out of 5.
Remember when you... Evans says the way to make the most of having a celebrity ad is having their image tell a story about the brand. Kris Jenner is in the Oreo spot, and Jason Momoa sings for T-Mobile.
Doritos are the best performing Super Bowl advertiser we've ever had in our database. So every year, they always score very highly. Another good one is T-Mobile. T-Mobile, again, they always score very highly. And after that, I'd say Pringles and M&M's.
Evans says using humor and sticking to proven ways in advertising is also a safe bet.
So the great thing, I think, this year, as many years, it's funny, it's entertaining, there's lots of celebrity, everybody is involved, and there's a really big all-star cast. So I think sometimes actually not changing the winning formula is often the best thing you can do.
More than 115 million people watched last year's Super Bowl game, an all-time viewership record. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
The Olympics is a worldwide attention grabber. Let's now go to Tyler Castillo for a look at the upcoming Winter Olympics.
It has been recently announced that the NHL will allow players to participate in the 2026 and the 2030 Olympics, according to NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. This will be the first time since 2014 that NHL players will be able to participate in the Olympics, where new historical moments can be created, such as the iconic Sidney Crosby's golden goal. The 2026 Winter Olympics will be held in Italy, and the 2030 Olympics will be announced at a future date. In addition to the Olympics, the NHL will host a Four Nations face-off. This will be a World Cup-like tournament between the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. This tournament will be hosted by the NHL and will be played during the middle of the season. It will also be hosted in North America with one game going to the United States and one game in Canada.
Stay tuned for China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer coming up next. And in more China news, Chinese migrants crossing into the U.S. border say they use TikTok to find gap in border fences. That's as the illegal Chinese crossings hitting record high. More details coming tonight at 9:30 on NTD's China in Focus with Tiffany Meyer. And that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on NTD Tonight every weekday at 9 p.m. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.